choice to make, right? Two heads better than one. And in this case, these two being in the game still is a scary, scary sight for anybody. The only team that might not be too worried about that is Dom and Deemish on our screens. Podesai and Asa will be the ones to take height initially here as the move in zone. Keep with so many different teams in this lobby in position to potentially take it.
Look at Deemish and Dom. They used the overdrive grenade just to get the effects. Now trying to see if they can work through the mid-ground. Maybe make an approach towards height from behind, catch them off guard, but they will get caught for a moment. So many other teams also just trying to stay fixated in these positions. Sky, Scroll, a bit manic here, but at the same time, they claim so much space. It's all about now just luring players into their position, maybe even setting up for a pre-edit. Don't necessarily need the refresh, but every little bit counts.
Podesai and Asa continuing to try and hold their height control. But for Noxie and Sangud, they might have something to say about it. They're looking for it. They're eager. But if Podesai and Asa can hold on, they're gonna have to hit some big shots to do it. Pressure being applied below, but they have run out of hard materials, and that will just make them sitting ducks above Frodoxy and Sangud. Height might be out of the picture for them as Sangud goes down. Frodoxy forced to try and clutch again, and he's trying to hunt Minori down. He wants to get in a limb. He needs the materials. He needs the HP, and it won't quite happen for him.
It's just so hectic underneath. The moment that you start to do these layer swaps, the shifts with Deemish, Darm, they found frags. That's just going to be another elimination. Solid points, sure for arm repairs though. They're the ones that have actually claimed ultimate height. Sky, Scroll, very limited on the builds currently, but 2 is better than 1. Revive paying off dividends already in terms of how much placement points they've been able to secure. Comparison to what the solo circumstance might have looked like, but Sky getting pieced up. Too much pressure. Backside of zone. Unfortunately, isn't able to get the knock in the elimination refresh he needs. Siphon, HP, anything works at this stage for him. Only a little bit of Flowberry Mist Grenade that he's going to be able to actually leech off of. Dropping all the way down now. 3 builds remain. Deemish left as a solo contender too. Trying to see if he can keep breaking through on these lower layers. Momsy from behind. Everybody just collapsing on top of each other. But Sky, big refresh. Still not enough. The Psycho Material's just barely going to keep him packing a little bit further. There's Puka underneath. Sky just needs to get the opening shot. Pre-fire has to be steady, but he won't have the opportunity here. Giras taking out Karama. It might just be Sinet and Giras' game to bring home here. Skyjump and Monzi, though, they're looking to be the difference makers. They've only got a couple moments left. A couple builds remain. But it could be enough because Giras has been taken out. Momsy's gonna strike first here. Skyjump and Momsy, they managed to get the job done. And so for France, they can be happy to see Skyjump and Momsy launching themselves on the battle bus for the Major 1 Grand Finals.
They were a team who we mentioned have been impressive in spurts, in moments throughout this year. And finally, delivering the goods to secure a spot in the finals. Skyjump and Mumsy are deserving. We're going to send it back to Lides to break that game down.
Well, it was Asa and Podesai who looked like they were in a winning position and on height for quite a lot of the endgame there, but in the end it was the alternative French duo Skyjump and Mumsy who were able to take the W mini minor.
Yeah, it's all about that 11 zone, I think it was, height take. It's those sort of moments that really make the difference in these games. And I spoke about it at the end of last game. If you can fend off those teams that are jumping up and trying to take height, there's usually 2 or 3 of them, then you're good to go. But unfortunately for those guys, they couldn't quite hold on. But all the better for Skyjump and Momsy, who got together at the end of Chapter 7, Season 1, last season, and started putting in some solid performances. They thought, you know what, let's stick it together. They're a team that we sort of seen play together
last
for a long
season?
time, had a little bit of a break away from each other, now coming back into it, Takata, and finding a lot of success.
Yeah, I mean, in the Div Cups, they had a 33% top 10 rate, and starting off today, they also got top 10. Issue is, in the match before this, they got 39th with 0 eliminations, so they were quick to jump right back into that action, get the elims they needed, and also pick up high ground at that perfect moment in the final zone. So I know the French fans are going to be excited to see Skyjump and Momsy in the major finals.
And the rest of the duos in the lobby might be excited because their drop spot was uncontested towards the west of the map. So again, some opportunities for change as we head into game number 4 after the break. Skydump and Mumsy have won a victory royale. It means that they are going to be in the finals next weekend. Listen, okay, I was a bit surprised. They were not a duo that was on my bingo card for getting one of the golden tickets, okay? So I'm still kind of processing the shock of it all. Apologies to all the French viewers watching. There are some fantastic French duos in the lobby tonight. We'll be talking about one of them in just a moment, but right now I'm going to turn my attention to the east of Europe, to our Polish duo, Demus and Darm, because they're heating up as the night goes on. They're continuing to pick up multiple eliminations, and it really does feel like they're actually playing for the win. Mini Miner.
Yeah, remember, these are the guys that actually I predicted to win this game, and they didn't, so not too happy personally. But what I am happy about is how they're playing overall. They're really showing us now in these last couple of games that they know what to do in these lobbies. Even when the zone isn't necessarily perfectly in their favor, like I broke down at the beginning of the day, they had some real success when zones were in their favor. This one a little bit more towards the north, but they had every part to play in this end game as well. Even just clutching up a few of these moments, hip to hip, like we talked about before. Very, very solid from this team. They're looking really good for consistency right now, Takata, even if they don't pick up a win.
Yeah, I think just keep predicting them, Mini. You don't got to worry because they do have the
Get them,
second
yeah.
best win rate this chapter on EU. So, I mean, I'd say they're bound to win one of these matches with how they've been performing.
Yeah, they've been performing brilliantly. I do have a soft spot for Damas and Demas. Damas and Demas.
Damas.
Yeah, I'm saying I like these guys, and yet I still can't get their names right. Apologies. It's about 28 degrees in my studio, and I'm definitely feeling it right now. Talking about Sky and Scroll, then moving on to them. They have not won a victory royale, otherwise they wouldn't be in the lobby anymore. We were expecting them to pick one up. They are getting very close to Carter.
Yeah, I mean, being the only duo that plays top 10 in 50% of their Div Cups, you can expect to see them in these end games. But what keeps happening, though, is it's a solo clutch from either Sky or Scroll. I mean, first game it was Sky, second it was Scroll, and in this third game, I believe Scroll actually got picked up after getting knocked, but then Sky once again went on to get a decent little end game clutch there, but they haven't won. They're just consistently doing it very well.
Yeah, I mean, even that earlier on in the end game, they had that clutch revive, right? Where one of them, I forget who it was rolling all. Actually then pulls back in their favor, so they're able to continue on through that game. It's little moments like that where just having that synergy, because they've played so long together, having that understanding, having that trust in your teammate to say, yeah, you can pick up the revive now. Those little moments right there is exactly where you can see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience, a lot of chemistry that's on display with these guys. Let's talk about the French duo I alluded to early though. Akira Karama. They're starting to pick up the pace now, Takara. A big elimination game for them in game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, the issue that we said with this duo is in both the Div Cup finals, they were uncontested, and now they are contested in these heats. We saw the issues of that in the first 2 matches they played. It was basically back-to-back 43rd and not great in the first match, but now they finally made it to the end game, and they did not disappoint. 9 eliminations, 3rd place. I just hope they can keep up the pace.
Yeah, this is better. This is exactly what we want to see and expect to see more from this team. I broke it down at the beginning of the day. I was saying they're not going to make too many of these end games, but they need to make the ones that they do make count. And off the back of a couple of really poor performances, when you put it in context of how good they can be, they really made the most as much as they could, I suppose, of that end game, getting 3rd right there. I'm just now curious, these last couple of games, are they going to have some troubles off spawn? Are they going to be able to make these end games? Because if they do, they'll be doing more of the same.
Well, let's take a look at the lobby list. Remember, to everyone watching at home, we've had 3 games now, so the top 3 names, they've all qualified by Victory Royale to the major finals next week. And then if we scroll down, the cut-off point is 15, so that's our consistency placement. So Akira and Karama sitting just underneath that now. But if we go to the 3rd page, you can see some of our Danish duos. Chino, Pablo Wingo, and Prodoxy. Don't forget, they are the reigning major champions. They may have split now, but we're definitely expecting more from all of these players, Mini Miner.
Yeah, the particular surprise here is Chino and Pablo Wingu, and we've already had so many upsets here in the heats. I think this would be another huge upset if they don't make it. And Takar, we were talking about players that don't end up making a major final after winning it, and we kind of sort of alluded to that being more of a Fred Doxy thing. Maybe we should have included the other guys in it as well. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is not what you'd expect to see coming from the major 3 win-in trios. Now the trio split up, and at least, you know, they're staying together on the leaderboard. You would hope it's a little higher up, but 2 matches left before we conclude the day. So, hey, it could be a win for both of them. That's odds are low, though.
If both of them make it to the end game, Takata, maybe that will up their chances more, because it's a running theme with these guys, even in Reload Elite Series, even going back to when they were a trio with Fredoxy. It always seems to be Pablo or Chino trying to clutch, particularly Pablo, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope we don't see a lot of solo clutches here. The problem is I'm also seeing Fredoxy always kind of being the last alive. I don't know if the chemistry is just not going there. They have been a little unlucky, I'd say, in some of the picks. I don't know if it's they're not covering, but a lot of double pumps on either Fredoxy or Zangild where they just instantly get deleted without the chance to kind of rack up those little bit of points every game. So I'm hoping for a big one soon.
Well, it's going to be a big game for someone as we head to game number 4 with Taco and Dr.
Every single one of these duos still has their own problems left to try and overcome in these lobbies, Levin. But with the final 2 just about to be underway, what do you think are some of the biggest switch-ups you're kind of expecting to happen here?
Ooh, I mean, Honestly, I'm not expecting to see much change. I think what needs to change as far as some of the teams who maybe are struggling is the execution, right? We've seen a lot of these teams get in good enough positions to where you'd expect them to have decent games, the kind of games that propel you into a qualification spot. And then somebody makes a mistake, somebody overextends, somebody takes damage where they shouldn't, and then bang, we're talking about them maybe missing out on next week's finals. And so, again, it's all about the execution, I think, for a lot of these teams in this lobby.
Well, whether or not these duos are going to be able to clean things up, only time will tell. But Game 4 is ready to get started. Some of the switch-ups, though, that have been interesting. We already know the likes of Chaplain Flixie, for example, taking over coaching responsibilities for Maxi King and Doom. We've also got the likes of Akira and Karama. They're actually going to be switching out where they choose to drop. Mumsy's Forest, Old Stumpy, coached by Skyjump and Mumsy. So
there you go.
A little bit of French love to pass around and see if they can replicate some of that same success.
I mean, these are the types of things that, again, become interesting, where you have a team that good switching up. But we did talk about how, with them, they're going to have to change things each game until they find something that sticks and works. And so maybe you could say that isn't too surprising, especially from those two.
May also make things a bit better for the likes of Robov and Axe Force, Asa Podesai. I know that those were definitely a couple teams that were consistently, seemingly clashing with them, so slightly different scenery might help everybody else indirectly. Strokey Bevies. Make it first to the gas station. Got some weapons to work with, but don't want to take shots at just yet. Just kind of waiting things through. We'll claim the slurp truck though, and off to a solid start here, just trying to see what else they can gather.
You've obviously seen these two teams having a couple back and forths over here at Riptides. And once again, Andon and Spleeze find themselves crouching about here. They've had the better fortune, you'd say, over the course of the day. The job is not finished. Club Sheet and Cracks still have much work to do, and that starts right now. Club Sheet takes Jazz Key down, so they'll get a pair of limbs added to their tally. And the comeback is on.
This is definitely right around the point where, you know, the gloves have to come off. You have to start making some big plays and conversions. Good off game or off spawn starts, the late game finishes. 6 in stand though, just hoping to survive. But Akira and Karama just continuing to apply so much pressure here. This was not the switch up that 6 in stand we're expecting to contend with so early on, and now a little bit of third party attacks, but it's not going to be enough to actually help 6 escape. Karama and Akira opening up with 2 eliminations. That is definitely bound to bode well for them, because it looks like Wonky Land might also be in their control.
What is Fredoxy cooking here? This doesn't work, right?
Fred Lurk is a patented strategy for a reason.
This doesn't work, right? Well, this is a free beat. You take this beat, surely. Okay, cool. If we didn't take that beam, that would have been an overcook. You know you have to play it isolated. He's not got a Scooby what's going on. And now you can try pinching in the 2v1. To be fair, his teammates done well to get back involved, and so Peaks will group up and they'll make a bunch of boxes, and anybody that's playing comp knows when the team starts boxing up like that, you might as well just get a move on, man. These guys ain't trying to go down. You don't wanna waste your time fighting through 20 metal boxes. Sky and Scroll in a bit of a scrap here. We don't see these guys scrapping at this point. in these games too often. Will they get the better hand of Bevies and Pastrocki? Not without some third-party interference, and so we'll see whether or not they commit to this fight now or opt to back off.
A little bit of a delay, but Scroll, not a whole lot of material. They just need this fight, and Bevies already being knocked just means that it's gonna allow for Sky and Scroll to just continue applying a little bit more pressure. The Siphon will come through here, but Strokey still doing a decent job at just keeping Sky and Scroll at bay, but the 1 versus 2 material count was looking rather thin for both for Strokey and Bevy, so it's gonna be very difficult, but at the same time, be able to wiggle his way out for right now. Get a look back to the success here for Sky, where he found this elimination originally. Just a really nice pre-edit opening shot, and it's exactly what you need to connect with.
Yeah, that's a good situation where, you know, we often talk about teams trying to find pinches, but there, their opponent is stuck against the hill, and so just both of them fighting head on increase their chances of picking that one up. So props to them. Dom and Demish looking in a good position to qualify, but they'll be wanting more. They'll want to win. Still fighting here at Riptides.